Hello again, you sick, twisted weather freaks and snowstorm perverts across the eastern U.S. It's March 31st, yes, and we have to talk about another snow event, maybe two, here in the eastern U.S., and it does not seem to want to end. Of course, if you're outside today in the Mid Atlantic region, it's pretty nice out there. But it has all sorts of problems coming down the pike as this pattern will not give up the ghost. And it's interesting to have to deal with snowstorms into April. And the problem is that, the same air mass, which gives you a temperature of sunny and 60 degrees, it without cloud cover and precipitation will drop you down into the low to mid 30s. And there you go. So let's take a look at this and see what's going on here. Now, our first issue obviously is going to be the one coming up for late Sunday night, Monday morning, mostly in eastern Pennsylvania, also some western Maryland, possibly far northern West Virginia, Ohio, New Jersey, New York, and New England. What's happening here is we can see this little piece of energy. Now, this thing has been showing up in the models here for a while. Originally, if you recall, it was down. It looked like it was going to hit, and I posted about it down in, in this portion of the Mid Atlantic region down here. But clearly, that's not the case. That's obviously not going to be the case. And this is because the southwest ridge is a little, southeast ridge is a little stronger, and as a result, the system is deflected to the north. It's getting later into the season. It's harder for these systems to dig down this way. So this is the little short wave, as you can see here. This is Monday, 2 a.m., and we can see a little bit of amplification right here, and that's where the snow gets going a little bit. It's not a really big system, but it has a nice jet streak to it, and it has some frontogenetic forcing, and we'll see that in just a second. Here is the GFS here from this afternoon, and again, this is valid for Monday. And you can see that the where it's coming through. Now, the first one again, this is a 2 a.m. Monday here. Oops, let me call up the right marker. 2 a.m. Monday, and this is 8 a.m. Monday here, down here, 8 a.m. Monday. And you can see the best forcing is down like in this area. It's actually over far northwest Virginia, western Maryland, Baltimore, D.C. northward. Not that much in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, you think, and then it slides off the coast. So I'm not sure these snow models. We'll see that in the GFS. There's a lot of snow in Pennsylvania, and I'm a little worried that snow is the models are overdoing the snow here a little bit. If we look at the NAM, this is a little different. It's a little further north. The photogenetic forcing here at 850 millibars is a little stronger. You can see, but again, northwest Virginia, Baltimore, just north of D.C. But at least it gets into southeastern Pennsylvania and central New Jersey, south of New York, and then it gets a little closer here at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. Again, I think that's a little far to the south, so I'm a little worried about that. Maybe that'll shift over the next couple of model runs. This is the European model. You can see this. This is the new one. This is the Saturday afternoon 12Z run. And you can see this is valid 2 a.m. Monday morning. So this is at 2 a.m. on Monday. And you can see the rain snow line is right through here. It looks like there's DC. It's going to go north of DC. There's Philly. There's New York. So good snow in central and southeastern Ohio, Pittsburgh, western Maryland looks like. And then if we go to the next images, we can see how the system develops. Again, this is the upper left. We have 8 a.m. on Monday morning, and you can see moderate snow north of D.C., north of Hagerstown, not even in Winchester. But western Maryland's getting slammed. The far eastern West Virginia Panhandle, Altoona's getting hit. Harrisburg, Lancaster, moderate snow. And then it's got moderate snow, the European, into Philadelphia and into New York City and New Jersey and places like that. Allentown's going to get hit, interior southeastern New York. Now look what happens here. This is 2 a.m. on Monday morning, right? Excuse me, no, this is 8 a.m. Excuse me, 8 a.m. Monday morning. So that's when the temperatures are at the lowest with the cloud cover and the precipitation. Now this is 2 p.m. and look what the European does. All rain into southern New England. Yeah, that's the impact of the temperatures here as we go into April. And you can see, well, in terms of the snow amounts, what does this mean? Well, it depends on which model you look at. Again, this is here from this European model is from weather models here, but you can see Weather Bell. Both of them use this enhanced European snow algorithm, which is just bullshit, and it gets everybody all excited. And look at it's got several inches of snow into Philadelphia, New York City, and coastal New Jersey. But if you look at the other more reliable from Euro weather here, this is much more realistic. You can see there's no accumulating snow in Philly or South Jersey, Central Jersey. There's none. And all the snow is in the elevated terrain, which is where it should be. It's got a couple of inches in New York City, maybe. but it's totally different than what that this is showing up in here. So this is much more the one you should use and avoid that stuff from Weather Bell and Weather Models. And you can see again how this is working out. I mean, look at this stuff. Now, why is this not? Is this likely to happen? No, it isn't. And let me show you why. This is the European model, so let's use European data. First of all, this is DC, and if you go here, you can see now it's got no snows north of DC. It's got 2 inches in Baltimore, then 5 inches in Hagerstown. So let's take a look. Hagerstown temperature is 34 degrees Monday morning. That's the coldest it gets. After that, temperature goes up. Baltimore is 35. You're going to get 2 inches of snow in April, 35 degrees. Good luck. Philly is 34. You can see it here. Look at the temperatures, 34, 33 in Philadelphia. Baltimore 35. New York City. Now New York City is 32 degrees, so maybe they may get some accumulating snow in New York City. That's a possibility. But the coastal Jersey is 34, 35 degrees. So yeah, the models, which this model which keeps all the precipitation to the north, you can see like this one here. You can see that it clearly seems to make more sense. This one down here. This seems to make a lot more sense. So I'm inclined to go with that. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on. This is the GFS here, and you can see also it's shifted north. All the models have shifted north of the track of the low. And as you can see, it goes actually north of Richmond almost. And then you can see the snow. It's got the snow close to Baltimore, Hagerstown snow. Again, the eastern West Virginia border, Panhandle there, western Maryland, a good portion of central and southern Pennsylvania, New York City. I think that's right. I just don't know if it's going to accumulate. And if we look at the snow amounts on the GFS in the upper left, this includes sleet. So it's got 3 inches in New York City. Okay. 4 inches, 3 inches in Philly. Okay. 4 inches Allentown, Reading, Altoona, Hagerstown. That's very reasonable. But if you look at the actual snow on the ground without the sleet, and you get much lower numbers in here. So again, something to keep in mind. And if we go beyond this, now these are the GFS temperatures. Okay, well let's see what usually the GFS is colder than the European. Not Monday morning. Look at DC's temperatures. 41 degrees Monday morning. Baltimore 37. Philadelphia 35. Really, 35 degrees, and you're going to get 3 or 4 inches of snow in Philly in April. Yeah, sure. It could happen. Sure. Not. And this is the GFS temperatures in New York. New York City 33 degrees, a couple 2 degrees warmer. That's important. There you can see Philly's 35, 34. So I'm just skeptical. I'm from Missouri. I'm a skeptical hippo. What can I tell you? The skeptical hippo is skeptical. That's the way it's going to be. So this is the NAM, the 12Z NAM. You can see very heavy snow here on the NAM. It's really going to town with the big snow in Pennsylvania. Western Maryland getting clocked as well. You can see really heavy sleet in portions there too of northern West Virginia. And this is as of 4 a.m. on Monday, and this is 8 a.m. on Monday. And you can see the big snow is leaving Philly, pushing to New York City, interior southeast of New York, much of central and northern New Jersey and Connecticut. And the in terms of what the model is doing for the snow amounts for the 12Z NAM, well, there it is. Now it's got 5-6 inches of snow in New York City. It's got 3 inches in Philadelphia. Okay, that might be good, but I'll notice here that the best snow on this model, even if you buy this model, the best snow is in the elevated higher terrain on here. So that's where the best snow is going to be. And if you forecast that, that's what you have to forecast. Now, if you look at the adjusted without the sleet in it, remember, this is sleet, this is no sleet. Oh, that's really different. You're in Philadelphia, okay, 3 inches of snow. No. You're in New York City. It's got 5-6 inches of snow. Take out the sleet. No. So that's a big difference. Okay. This is the 12Z NAM. Yeah, sure, that's going to happen at 35 degrees in Philly and New York. I don't think so. Okay, New York's 33, but still. You're not going to get 4 inches of snow in central Jersey at 35 degrees in April. Okay, this is the RGEM, and the RGEM has really heavy snow over southeastern and central Ohio at 2 a.m. on Monday morning. You can see that here. This is 2 a.m. Monday morning, and you can see really heavy snow in this area into southwest Pennsylvania, and then all of central and southeastern, the interior of Pennsylvania, southern Harrisburg, Altoona, Gettysburg, Lancaster. Yeah, they're getting slammed. I think that's right. New York City, Baltimore. Look, it's north of Baltimore. Clearly, it's north of Baltimore. The rain snow line looks like it's north of Philly here. And if you look at the snow amounts on the RGM, it's got 4 inches in Philly, which I find difficult to accept. 3 inches in New York City. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure I want to go that high. Now, again, the best snow is I like this big snow in southeastern Pennsylvania, Ohio. I like this idea a lot. And then also good snow far northern West Virginia, Western Maryland, Altoona, Harrisburg. I like all this a lot in here. Now, this only goes out to 48 hours, so we have to see what the new one goes to. But I suspect this is going to be north of New York City with a few more inches of snow. And this here is the high resolution mesoscale Canadian model. And notice that it does not have the same snow here. Now this was the RGM. Again, the 4 inches in Philly, you see that, and 3 inches in New York City. And you look at it, it doesn't have that. It's got all the snow in the high elevated terrain and a lot less snow in New York and Baltimore and Philly and central New Jersey. And I think that's correct. Okay, so next what we're going to do is now we're going to talk about the next event here. And the next event is potentially April 7th or 8th. So after this system blows on through, this is what happens. Now, on April 3rd and 4th, we get a big warm up ahead of the Arctic front. You can see the temperatures really get warm here after this system. So the snow melts, any snow that melts is gone the next day. And then what happens after that, here comes the next blast. And you can see some important features here on April 4th. First, here's the cold front, the morning of April 4th, coming through like this. You can clearly see it, big monster trough here. There's your blocking feature, the western negative NAO coming in from Greenland. And there's the other block over the Bering Sea up in this area here. So you have a Arctic flow coming in this way, a very strong polar vortex, very intense, much further south than it normally is. Normally it's not in this part of Canada during early April. It just isn't. So that's how the pattern begins with our next blast here for that's on August 4th. So as we go further in time, now this is what happens. We have two pieces of energy here, which we have to watch carefully. This southern piece here and the northern one here. And how and if are they going to phase? Now this is April 8th, early in the morning, and this is later on in the afternoon. You can see they do phase, but off the coast a little bit. I don't know if that's right. Now, coming in from the west is this big piece here, which is pushing this. It's being the kicker. See this piece here? See how fast it moves? So this may slide the whole thing off the coast. So I don't know if we're going to see the April 7th or 8th event. Well, it's up in the air. This is April. Now, this here is, again, you can see the two systems very nicely. The one coming in from the west coast, here's the kicker, and this thing is sliding off the coast. Now, this is forcing the system to move rapidly, and I don't know if it's going to be able to phase in time. Also, here's our vortex, but notice the blocking pattern in Canada looks like it's breaking down a little bit. Okay, and then we're looking further in time. Here comes the cold air. This is April 5th. The Arctic front is through. Everybody in the east United States has temperatures 5-6 degrees centigrade below normal. Again, remember your April temperatures are going up rapidly. Normal highs, let's say in Virginia, are the middle and upper 60s, mid-Atlantic, low 60s. So this is a big temperature anomaly, and you can see how extremely cold it is relative to normal in south central Canada, Iowa, North Dakota, Minnesota. And in the bottom right map, this is the morning of April 8th. You can see it here. This is after that system on the 7th, whether it hits or not. Whether there's a low there, we don't know. But this is the morning of April 8th. And you can see how amazingly cold it is relative to normal. And now the other models are showing, here's the GFS. And again, notice here's the cold front on April 8th. Okay, this is the Arctic front coming through here. All the models show that. There it is on April 8th. And this is what it looks like on the GFS of the surface. Now, the GFS is trying to develop some sort of wave down in here. Here's the Arctic high right here. So this could be a snow event for portions of Virginia, North Carolina. Maybe. It's late, not a certainty. It's just a possibility. This is the European that has the snow much further north, which makes sense, climatologically speaking. And then beyond that, this is the GFS here. Now that you can see why the GFS is doing this, because you remember that low is off the coast, the weak front. This is what it looks like. So the polar vortex is now shifted into here, and we have a little shortwave trough right here. So this needs to phase, because right now this low is going off the coast. Okay, so we still have Arctic flow coming in here. That's good. Very strong Arctic air mass, so it's brutally cold. But that's why we're getting that low moving off the coast because of this. And the GFS reflects that. This is the 60 GFS. There's the low in the Gulf. The Arctic fronts through. You get some snow in Virginia. And then this is the 12Z run, same sort of thing. And look where the low is, off the Georgia coast, and it's moving in this direction because the streams haven't phased yet. Could they phase? Sure. I'm very possible. Absolutely. We just have to wait and see. And then beyond that, this is the another trough coming through here, April 12th. It's still a very cold pattern. We still have a ridge over the west coast here. Another trough here, but notice we don't have nearly as much blocking up in here. So maybe the pattern might begin to ease up after April 15th. And you can see the temperature anomalies are still very cold. April 12th, relative to normal, it's still unbelievably cold. And just to give you an idea of why the cold is important, a lot of vineyards and fruit orchards in the Mid-Atlantic have already seen a bud break. And you can see the morning of April 8th. Look at these temperatures in the Shenandoah Valley, low to mid 20s. In the western Maryland, some teens there, portions of eastern West Virginia, very cold temperatures behind that system. Whether we get that snowstorm or mixed precipitation or winter weather on April 7th or 8th, or whether it goes out to sea, there's a lot of cold air coming in behind it. Anyway, this is meteorologist DT from weatherist.com. I'll catch you on the Facebook page and on the Twitter page.